it is in every country's war game plan that the first thing they do is do an EMP, because then it cripples the infrastructure of that country. You might recall when the U.S. and the Allies attacked Iraq to try to free the Iraqi people from Saddam Hussein and the supposed wars of mass destruction, which never appeared. The first thing they did is they took the stealth jets, which nobody had ever seen yet, and which were elusive to radar, and they flew in at night, and then they ran these smart bombs, and they went right down the vent pipe into their command center, their control center that did all the communication. So the very first thing that happened is all of a sudden they had no communication. So it crippled their ability to function. Similarly, the modern day war strategy of people that want to do us harm is to start out with an EMP. So they blow off this small atomic bomb 100 miles above the earth or so, above the United States, and it would potentially take out the grid. That means that, of the 12 or so substations that we have that are important to the backbone of the grid, those pieces of equipment aren't made in the United States, and it's a 2-year waiting list. So if the grid goes down, we're in big trouble. And so the thing that starts it is the EMP. So an EMP, you don't feel it, you don't see it, and it's just like a big magnetic field blast of high voltage, as I understand it. Well, that damages all the microelectronics. And virtually everything we have is microelectronic control, little miniature computers and stuff. So there are different theories of how to protect yourself. You're not yourself, it doesn't hurt you, but to help to protect critical pieces of electronics that you don't want to get damaged. For instance, what if you have an emergency radio? We bought a little Red Cross radio. It has a hand crank on the side. I've seen one with a solar panel on it. So in an emergency, you could listen to shortwave or emergency broadcast system or something. But if it's sitting out in the house and there's an EMP, that radio is toast, we assume. So this is the method, one of the methods that I found on YouTube, and actually bought a book from the guy who did the YouTube, and he explains it. This is called a Faraday cage, and that's a generic term. There's commercially made Faraday cages, but this is the cheapest, easiest, buy it at a hardware store approach to being able to protect your critical little things from an EMP. This Faraday cage is nothing more than a good quality 32-gallon metal garbage can with a tight-fitting lid. You will see that I added a copper wire between the handle on the lid and the handle on the can itself, which is my own little extra protective measure. I don't know if it'll matter, but anyway, made sure that they're connected. Now, the goal is that this EMP blast of electricity goes around the can and doesn't hit anything inside. So you first of all need to make sure that inside does not touch outside. So before I put any sensitive electronics in the can, I need to line it with cardboard so that it is not touching the edge of the can. And you'll see I put some duct tape. I did it only on the inside because duct tape can be electrically conductive, and so I didn't do it on the outside, I just did it on the inside, which isn't touching the can. Then this gentleman did some experimenting. An AM radio broadcast antenna puts out a similar radiation kind of thing as an EMP. So what he did is he took this 32-gallon garbage can, he put an AM radio inside, there was cardboard inside like this, and he put it next to a 50,000 watt, which is as big as an AM station can get, antenna. He's sitting right next to it with this garbage can. He has the radio tuned to the station, and he closed the lid. And if the radio quits and you don't hear any sound, then it worked, the theory is. Well, he could still hear a little bit. So he said, well, that's not good enough. So he came up with the next theory, and that is put a garbage can inside of a garbage can. So this is a 32-gallon garbage can, and I shopped around and found that a 20-gallon garbage can fits perfect. By the time you have the cardboard in, even the lid fits perfect. I was really excited about that. So here you've got the big garbage can with the little garbage can. I lined it with cardboard, and then I put inside it a plastic bag with my components in it. You'll notice I put cardboard on the lid as well. So here we go with the lid on top of the little can and then the lid on the big one.